All right. Welcome, everyone, to the podcast. Today, we're talking about how quickly can you lose the weight. Now, before we can answer that question, we got to understand there's two ways to lose weight. One way to lose weight is to do really extreme things so that you get to your goal weight as fast as possible for a little while. And the other way to lose weight quickly is to do it in a way that once you get there, you not only got to your goal weight, but you did it in a way where you now have an eating strategy, a lifestyle strategy, and a mindset strategy so that you can remain at your goal weight for the rest of your life. So these are two different goals. And so the first question we have to ask is, which goal are you aiming at? Are you aiming at the quick, temporary weight loss? Or are you looking towards long-term, sustainable, live at your goal weight for the rest of your life weight loss? And so which one you're aiming at, you have to decide first, because how quickly you can get to each is going to dictate that, right? So if you want to lose weight short term, as quick as possible, the fastest way to do that is to completely stop eating. Don't eat any more food. Stop eating food, water fast. If you're really serious, you won't even drink water because there's water weight, right? Consume as much salt as you can consume. Exercise as much as possible. Again, don't eat, don't drink water. And that will probably be the fastest way to lose the weight quickly, to at least touch your goal weight for a moment. Now, that won't be very sustainable, but it's the fastest, quickest way you can lose weight. Now, the other way, if you want to actually keep the weight off long term and sustain it for the rest of your life, that's going to be a different process. Okay. So in that process, we can't just drastically cut calories or do things that we can't maintain, because the main goal here is not just to get to our goal weight, but to do it in a way we're able to live at that goal weight. So how do we do that? Well, the quickest way possible is to start creating eating strategies, lifestyle strategies, and mindset strategies that allow you to think like a thin and healthy person, live like a thin and healthy person, and eat like a thin and healthy person. Now, I can't tell you exactly what those strategies are because you need to figure out what they are for you. And the primary one is, again, your eating strategy. How are you going to eat like a thin and healthy person for the rest of your life and maintain it? Well, you're going to need to find ways of eating where you're consuming less calories on average than you do now. But if you approach it one bad habit at a time, what will happen is you will come up with long-term sustainable strategies, as opposed to the diet mindset where you try to change everything all at once, like where we said, stop eating completely, stop drinking water. And instead, what you're going to do is you're going to start with your worst eating habit, might be eating at night, and you're going to figure out ways that you can set yourself up for success so that it's easier and almost automatic for you to remove or reduce that unhealthy behavior. So if it's eating at night, we look for ways to reduce the eating at night or to eliminate it altogether. And once you work on that for a little while and you come up with ways to do that that are relatively comfortable for you, then you move on to the next eating habit. And it might be overeating at dinner. And then you look at that and you consistently work on figuring out, how can I eat less at dinner, less calories at dinner, so that I can live at my lower weight. And this process just goes on and on and on throughout however many eating habits you have. And it's usually only 3 to 5 eating habits typically. If you change your worst 3 to 5 eating habits, you will probably get a lot closer to your goal weight. And then we move into the lifestyle of adding habits of proper sleep, proper hydration, relaxation, breathing, nourishment, movement, meditation, gratitude. And you systematically create strategies to add those and weave those into your life. You start to transform yourself from the ground up. You become a different version of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally. And when you go about it this way, you're creating strategies that are built to stand the test of time, that allow you to live at your goal weight for the rest of your life on your autopilot. So again, you now have two kind of ways to think about this and two strategies to go about achieving it. And I wish you the best with whichever one you choose. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them. I know that little thing there was sarcasm. The idea that you're gonna, not eat any food at all is silly. But again, I make it that way so that we can see it for what it is. The idea of most people's diet strategies are short-term at best, right? So anyways, here we are on a Friday. I see someone says, what Nibby eats. Hi, Jim. What gives you the motivation to do these lives daily? Yeah, I mean, the reason I do these every weekday is, for me, my mission in life is to help as many people as possible live at their goal weight. It's really that simple. Let me switch these cameras around here. And it really started if you don't know my story, it started when I was this game is crazy crooked. When I was 9 years old, because that's when my father died of a heart attack. So for me, weight is life and death, So again, I'm not here to. I want you to wear skinny jeans and bathing suits to the beach. I want that for you, but that's not really my main motivation here. My main motivation is I want you to live as long as possible, and I want you to have the best quality of life while you're here. And so for me, this is I mean, it's a much more deep seated motivation that I kind of just want to help people out, because I don't want anyone to have to go through what I went through as a child, losing my father for no good reason. You know what I mean? Like, it really wasn't a good reason because he couldn't stop eating food, So it's really kind of put me on this path. And then, I changed my weight 50 pounds and I'm on this path now. So it's been, short of meeting my wife and having my children, it's been the biggest gift in my life, for me to, I tell you, I say this all the time, but my story of the weight loss story and the health story and the journey I'm on, to me, is just, it's my life, and I'm so lucky. I feel so fortunate that I came across the things I came across that allowed me to change my weight and myself so dramatically that I feel almost a debt to be paid back. And so, I do have programs and things, but this podcast is something I do as, it's part of my mission. It's part of my passion to help as many people as possible. Because again, it's not even just the lifespan. I want you to live as long as possible, but literally what I think is almost even more important is how you're living those years. And I find a lot of people struggling with the weight. You're so wrapped up in the weight and feeling so shitty about it and blaming yourself for it and beating yourself up that it can zap all the quality of life that you get. And so, to me, this is one of the most important things there is, so anyways, that's what motivates me. And I don't know, like, I'm so passionate about this. Like, it's very easy, to be honest. These lives are probably the easiest part of my work, short of coaching and the lives are really very easy for me because I love doing it. The harder part's more the business stuff, that side of it. But if he says, you made a huge difference in my life. I'm in my mid-20s and from India. Thank you so much. Oh, you're welcome. That's awesome. Yeah, it's fun. I've been working with people around the world for over 20 years now. So it's so fun to be able to help people, all over the world in all different situations. And I think, what I'm sharing is helpful, because I'm just giving you a different perspective on things. And so I think that given the right information, I think you can get much better results when it comes to your weight and your health. And I think the big challenge you've had is not your willpower. It's really that you don't know. You don't know what to do to lose weight, and you don't know how to get yourself to do it. It really comes down to those two things. And that's what I spend really so much time focusing on. So anyways, I'm glad I can help you all out. I saw a question here. Hannah says, can you please help with not thinking about food and weight all the time? It's kind of exhausting. Absolutely, Hannah. But here's what I say. And you're already kind of implied. And I already know you're already this type of person, because the only people that listen to me are overthinkers. Typically, I've noticed. The only people that listen to me in an inconsistent way are people that are overthinkers, that are constantly in their head churning. You're usually perfectionist. And so the not thinking about food, I don't think is ever going to work. Okay. Meaning, I'm a hypnotist, and so I deal with the subconscious mind. And one thing you really got to know about the subconscious mind is it does not understand negatives. So if I tell you, don't think about a banana, what fruit are you thinking about? Banana, right? So it's not that the question isn't how do I stop thinking about unhealthy foods? It becomes, how can I think in a way that gets me the results I want? So it's not about what you want to stop thinking about. It's about what you want to think about. And so I think about food and my weight like a lot of the time, but it feels good though, you see, because it's something that it's a path of mastery for me. So when I'm thinking about it, it's really about how can I eat better so I feel better? How can I eat healthier so that I, can control my weight? How can I make it easier? How can I make it more enjoyable? Where's the sweet spot for me? How can I feel even better? So I'm always asking these types of questions that are aimed at where I want to go. And so for you, Hannah, it's not about focusing and obsessing on not thinking about the food, because that sets you up for failure. It starts to become, what foods do you want to eat to get the results that you want to achieve? And what reality do you want to live in? What do you want your weight to be? How can we make it happen? What you're asking, and again, everyone does this, is you're focused on the problem, right? You know you're obsessively thinking about food that's leading you to obsessively eat the food that's causing your weight to be higher than you want it to be, and you're obsessed with this problem. What's wrong with me? Why do I keep eating this way? How do I stop thinking about the food? How do I stop myself from overeating? And everything is revolving around all the problems, and subconsciously that's reinforcing all the problems. And so you'll feel it in your gut. The second you start saying, instead of what's wrong with me, why do I keep fucking up? Why can't I eat right? Instead, you start saying, what do I want to weigh? Why? What will I get out of being at that weight? What's the best version of me? When I'm eating my best, what am I eating? How can I make eating my best easier? How can I make it natural and automatic so that I want to eat that way? I know you may not have the answers to those questions yet, but you're never asking those questions. And so you don't have any of those answers. So here comes the chicken or the egg thing. You got to start asking the right questions to get the results you want. So I know it's exhausting. Focusing on the problem is exhausting, because what happens when you focus on the problem, folks? Guess what you get more of? More problems. So yeah, absolutely. And I know everyone on here is stuck in that. Unless you're in my world, you're obsessively thinking on problems because you think at some point you're going to magically figure it out and that's going to change everything. And I'm here to tell you it's not, because what you're doing, you don't realize it, is by the more you obsess on the problems of being overweight and overeating and being out of control, the more you're literally hypnotizing, programming your subconscious mind to be that you. And that's what you're getting. And you've been doing this for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. And you just keep getting more and more of what you don't want. And I'm telling you, the primary reason you're doing that is because your brain is focused on the problem, and you need to start focusing on the solution. And that's the big shift, you know? What Naveed says, it's not just about information. In India, caste system has led to a vegetarianism becoming forced upon people, reducing protein intakes and imbalancing diets. That's very interesting. Yeah. But I mean, again, vegetarianism, you may not, no one wants to have a diet forced on them, which is why diets don't work anyways. But if you're a vegetarian, you can absolutely get protein. You got to get through beans, go get some beans. But I just want to make clear that obviously we can get protein if you have access to beans, but beans are typically one of the things that's easier to get access to in the world. Okay. But you can absolutely get enough protein on a vegetarian diet too. But I get it. Yeah. Having it forced on you, that's not ideal. But you can absolutely get enough protein with a vegetarian diet. Deanna says your passion is inspiring and is so evident that it's truly a mission for you. So much free advice. I'm amazed every day by the podcasts that are so in depth and no BS sponsors or commercials. That's true, right? I was thinking that. I get them every week. I get people wanting to basically sell shit through me, and a lot of it's supplements, right? A lot of just bullshit. I mean, there's so much bullshit out there, and I do have a little bit of a reach in the world. And so, every week I get people that want to, basically have me sell you guys bullshit. And I won't do it. And I don't put sponsors or commercials on here. I'm not saying I never would, but it would be like, I don't believe in 99% of the weight loss bullshit, like supplements, diets, exercise equipment, workout plans, like just the vast majority of it, I just don't believe in, it's, I'm not saying it's wrong. I like some of this stuff, but it's pretty much almost all weight loss bullshit that encompasses all the things I just said revolves around like the quick fix. Like, oh, just do this. Here's what's the one I got today? It was genetically tested supplements. Okay. And so they'll be like, oh, here, go get your genetic test, which is fine. I think that's interesting. So I'm not saying I would never do that. Like, I think getting genetic testing in terms of weight and health things, I think is very interesting. But then they want to do the genetic test, and then they want to sell you a custom made supplement, and it'll have my branding on it. And no, because it's bullshit. Because what that does is it reinforces the idea that, oh, just take this supplement and that's going to fix it. It's always the simple fix. And, I'm able to give you guys the truth, which is weight clearly is not a fucking simple fix. I mean, God, how could you be 50, 60 years old and still think you're one diet away from fucking mastering your weight? Like, it's just insanity. It's insanity. And it's the literal equivalent to like get rich quick schemes. They're one and the same. And they prey upon your desperation and your impatience and your frustration. And I get it. But you're never getting a clear message of saying, yes, mastering your weight is fucking work. Tough shit. Going to college is tough work. There's no shortcuts to get through college. There really aren't. I mean, you could cheat your way through it, I suppose, but they're really, if you're going to college or school or trainings, I don't know. I thought they were hard. I found it to be hard. I found running my own business, it's kind of hard. Raising a family, it's been hard. You know what I mean? Rewarding, all good too, but it's hard. And so, mastering your weight, I'm not saying it's necessarily hard, but it does take persistence. It does take learning a holistic, comprehensive strategy. And if you think it doesn't, if you think all you need to know is just another unique way to cut fucking macros down, whether, this one's a protein, cut the protein down now. That's what we got to do. Oh, now we got to cut. I mean, God, it's like, yeah, it just makes me crazy. There is no one simple solution to weight. Like, it's just not. It's a holistic, comprehensive thing you have to do. Mindset, lifestyle, eating. That's what I've seen work for people. And I've seen no shortcuts, and if you can't figure out all three of these areas, you're going to have a blind spot, right? I could give you the most amazing eating plan on the planet, but if your lifestyle is shit and your mindset shit, you ain't going to follow it. It's not going to matter. And you know what I mean? So it's like, you really do need to improve all three areas, or I don't know. I think you're going to flounder. That's what I think. But anyways, enough of that. What's up, Mario? I was wondering if you still ever struggle with binging, overeating, even after mastering your weight. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I just struggle with the last 4 days. And I was thinking that too. Like, I went to DC, and one thing I was thinking, it's funny. I didn't even think about it when it was happening, but we ate at like a few fast food places. Never they're healthier fat. Where we go? We went to a place called Hip City Veg and Kava and a Shake Shack. All right. So, which I'm not saying that was necessarily healthy, but I never eat fast food ever, never, never, ever. And to be honest, it's funny because I'd never been to any of these places. So it's just funny. Yeah. So yeah, I still deal with it, but I got it pretty under control. Like I do. And luckily my overeating was never like binging. Like I didn't usually like sit down and like way over binge. I overate constantly. Okay. So I was more of a chronic overeater, like meaning I would eat breakfast, lunch. No, I would eat breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, snack. It wasn't a snack at night. It was almost like a second dinner. Is that many calories? So I wouldn't like sit down like one time and like blah, 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 eat everything, binge that way. I would kind of binge every day. It felt like, but it wasn't really binging. It was overeating, I would say. And I think there's a big distinction between those two. So yeah, I'm pretty good now for sure. But I still, yeah, it rears its head sometimes, in different situations and different moods I get in. So it's something you got to keep your eye on. I kind of think of it metaphorically. It's like the garden. You got to keep weeding. You know what I mean? Like you have to stay, focused. And then the other metaphor I really like is that mastering your weight is kind of like surfing. You never get to this, like this fixed ground. You know what I mean? Like if you're surfing, the waves constantly shifting. You know what I mean? That wave is constantly in some sort of flux and you have to respond to it. And so I find that weight mastery is a bit like that. It becomes more and more automatic, but there's always a part of it that you do have to, be engaged because life's always changing. Situations are always changing. Moods are always changing. Things are always changing. So you need to have the ability to be flexible and adjust to what's going on. And that's where Program Yourself Thin is very different, very much different than a diet, because every diet out there is very, very fixed and inflexible, very, very strict with what they tell you to do. You got to do it this way. Most diets anyways. And very few people have the ability to adjust what they're doing as their lives change in various ways. So it's always on my mind. I'm always measuring it. I'm always, again, so I go away for 4 days and I allow myself, I can eat what I want to eat. And I overeat a bit, like how I want to eat, like anyone. Of course, I want to eat more hyper palatable food. I want to do that all the time. Where was I just now? I was at, I went to TJ Maxx and they got like, you're checking out and they've got like a whole bin of all this good shit, like all this, candy snacky type things. And I'm like, ooh, that all looks good. I'm like, but I don't want to eat any of you. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, it's always there because you're to some degree, it's a managed addiction. You know what we're talking about here, because all this food that we're struggling with is all the hyper palatable processed fast foods. And it's always appealing. It is like being an alcoholic in a sense where you are living in a culture where there's alcohol everywhere. So you have to learn to manage the triggers and it's always there to some degree. So I don't say that to scare you. I say it, it becomes like if you're a surfer, eventually you are always having to engage, but as you get better and better at surfing, it becomes easier and easier for you to do it. You start automating more and more of the process. You almost do it naturally. So I am always engaged with my eating and my weight. I've structured a lot of it, so I've kind of offloaded a lot of it where I don't have to think about it. But I'm there and I'm engaged with it. And so if my eating starts going a little wonky, I'm aware of it and I get myself back on track. So I'm managing it, but it becomes easier and easier and easier to manage it more and more I do it. Just like anything you do in life, playing a musical instrument, dancing, drawing, playing a sport, whatever you do consistently, you get better and better and better at it. So you're able to internalize and automate a lot of the little micro things. So you don't need to think so much anymore, right? You kind of just do it on muscle memory and autopilot. So I'm kind of there too. So that's kind of a long meandering answer, but I hope that helps answer it. Yeah. Yeah, Deanna says, please never do unless it's something you really believe in because you're one of the few people we can trust. No, I take that very seriously, Deanna. I would never, ever, never promote. I would never promote anything that I didn't believe in. I would never do it. I mean, first of all, I'm very fortunate because I'm able to support myself with what I do. And so I'm not an influencer who needs money from sponsors. That's not how I've set my life up. I really, so I'm able to support myself. So I have no real economic pressure to do that. I think that all the time. Like I watch, trying to get to the questions. I'm having a hard time. I yapping so long. I missed a lot of the questions. Oh, I thought that just showed the questions. I'm going to get to them TikTok. I'm just got a little behind there, yapping it up. And now TikTok is so crazy. They used to like just show the questions and now they show every single person that like joins or leaves. And it's just confusing. So Hannah says, so shift my thinking. Yes, you got to shift your thinking, your lifestyle, and your eating. Those are the big three. But what I would suggest is go to my bio, click the link and get the hypnosis session and watch the video I made for you. Watch that video because I break down the entire approach in way more detail. It's all free. It's free. Go check it out. But yeah, I trade in my reputation here, and I want to be always honest with you guys because I take the no bullshit clause, and that is where I feel like a lot of my power comes from. And honestly, I always feel like for me, we all got strengths and weaknesses. And one of my strengths is I got a good bullshit detector. I will say, I think I was naturally born with a decent bullshit detector, and I've done so much studying and training and work in this area that's just honed it to a super fine degree. And I believe my bullshit detection is a huge part of my ability to master my weight. And so that's why I take the no bullshit clause with you all. Yes, exactly. If there was that one fix, we would have tried it by now and we wouldn't be here. Just like get rich quick. Yeah, exactly. Right. If there was, and I would tell you, if there was like, if Ozempic was like, a natural or something and it like really worked for everything, I would tell you to do it. Like I said, I can make money. I can support myself a million different ways. I would love if some discovery came along that was natural and good for you and just like magically made everyone in control of their eating their weight. I would love that. I would happily do something else. But there's not, and so, I like to think I genuinely think this is the best thing too. I mean, again, I'm sure there's other things out there, but obviously I'm going to be biased. I think this is the best approach. I like what you said about overeating. I relate more to that consistent overeating versus binging, which is not my thing. Yeah. No BS oath. I know that thing's good. Yeah, the consistent overeating, because there's just all different patterns of overeating. I was thinking that today, like, I don't think I ever would have been an obese. I don't think I ever would have been obese. Maybe I would have just been close to the line of it. But I don't feel my makeup as I ever would have been morbidly obese. I feel like I would have been overweight, I would have been overweight towards obese, I think, is where I would have been if I hadn't learned this stuff. So there's just different levels to the whole thing, but the solutions I share with you can be used by anyone because I work with people all across the spectrum, from people that are 5 pounds away from their goal weight to people that are hundreds and hundreds of pounds from their goal weight. We're all using the same strategy, and I've seen it work for everyone. Mara says, okay, honestly, hearing you say you overeat too is making me feel more normal. Yeah, you're always going to overeat, folks. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's what I don't like about the weight loss industry is it makes it seem like once you get to your goal weight, you're at this finish line, and you're not. This is something like even me, I can get off track. So I do have to manage it. Like I say, though, it gets easier and easier to manage every year. And it becomes more and more automated every year. but the overeating is regular, and I structure it in, but then I regularly will overeat every week. There's times when I'm eating more than I plan to, eating things I wasn't planning on eating and wouldn't necessarily want to eat in that day. So yeah, that always happens. And I want you to know that, because again, I think everyone's trying to sell you their diet, their weight loss bullshit. And so they got to make it seem like the most perfect, amazing thing. And once you do it, you'll never struggle again. And it's fucking bullshit. It's bullshit. As far as I can tell, it just is. I got to manage things. I'm following an entire system. My whole lifestyle is kind of set up. My mindset's set up. My eating's set up for me to live at my goal weight. And it's really important to me. And I treat it as such. And so, yeah, and it's still, again, shit, I go back to the surfing thing. I had good and bad days. You know what I mean? Like, there's always good and bad days, and there always will be forever. You're never just there's no plan out there where you just have good days from that point forward. That's never, ever going to happen to you. So again, setting our expectations up right is really important. Mario says, but the thing is, I never just overeat. I go crazy and actually binge without being able to physically stop myself. It's so scary. I get that, Mario. And I would say my suggestion to you is that I'm going to assume a lot of the binging and that behavior, a lot of that's created because you're trying to over restrict so hard. This is such I'm not saying there aren't other reasons people binge, but it's so often what I see is people are going crazy with the binging because they're way over restricting. They don't know how to deal with the emotions, and it's beyond kind of a habit. I tend to find but that could be it too. Sometimes it's just a habit, that certain things trigger that habit to go off. But more often than not, I see people over restricting dramatically, and that's causing them to way overeat, or they're and there's emotional stuff going on that they don't know how to deal with without food. What a method to remind yourself that you are hungry, but it's not time to eat. Remind you you're hungry, but it's not time to eat. I mean, for me personally, I'm always managing my hunger. So if I'm hungry, if I'm hungry, I'll eat, so if I'm not that hungry and I know it's not time to eat yet, then I can push it off. So I'll give you an example. I eat breakfast and then lunch, and I usually eat lunch around 1:30, 2:00, between 1 and 2, I would say. Around 11 o'clock, I typically will start feeling a little bit hungry, a little bit, but I know that I'm going to go in and I'm going to do some work. I'm going to do a live, and then I won't even care. And then I'll eat after that. And so that's a method, is I know I get a little hungry here, but I stretch it out a couple hours because I do something. So doing something is a very effective way to get your mind off of eating. Now, again, this only works if you're not really that hungry. If you're starving, you're trying to starve yourself, forget it. So I'm talking about, I have a little bit of hunger. And so when I have a little bit of hunger, I have strategies to deal with that. And that's one of them. So that's the first part, though, is don't get too hungry. If you get too hungry, you're not going to be able to fight that off. So you have to manage your hunger first, and then the strategies of how to deal with slight hunger come after. I hope that makes sense. 5-star Michelin. Nice. Hi, Jim. You're so inspiring. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you saying that. Was your dad overweight? Yes, he was obese. Not morbidly obese, but obese. And yeah, he knew it too. I mean, he had all sorts of health issues. He had gout, he had kidney stones, he had heart disease, obviously. Knew about that. He was a smoker, which I kind of a little bit kind of knew, but not really. But yeah, he was an eater, and he was overweight, and he was too big for his body. He had, I look at him now, and it's I always knew him as an overweight person. But I look back at pictures of him, and especially when he was a kid, he looked just like me. You know what I mean? Like he had thin structures. The big bone thing is so crazy, because when people lose weight, you realize they got bones just like everyone else. There are other factors that do impact your weight, but the point is that he was an eater. He just, his identity was built around eating, and he loved eating. And so, yeah, he was obese and dealt with the things from it, but not morbidly obese. Again, I put it right in that range. I love the way I felt when I ate healthy and lost 85 pounds. Yeah, sure. It was almost hard work to go back to eating unhealthy and gain back 85 pounds I lost. Yeah, it was almost hard work. That's very interesting you say that, musical girl. It's like that. I mean, that's what I try to say too. It's you can make, my goal for my clients is not just to lose weight, it's to get to your goal weight and then live the rest of your life at your goal weight on near autopilot. That's a key part of the whole thing, because it's not just enough to have a strategy to lose weight. That's what the diets are, right? It's basically do this to lose weight. But those ways are always miserable and overwhelming. That's why you can't do them, right? You sit here thinking about weight loss all day long, unable to get yourself to actually do anything to lose weight. Why do you think that is? It's not rocket science. It's not a trick question. It's because you don't want to do the things you think you have to do to lose weight. And so knowing what to do to lose weight is not enough. You've got to know how to lose weight in a way that is relatively comfortable for you. And even better is one that we can pretty much automate. So we do it automatically. And so until you get to that point, it's always going to be a struggle, and so I get it. It was very interesting, Musical Girl. So yeah, it'd be fascinating to hear your story, right? 'Cause you'll drop 85 pounds and it felt pretty automatic. And then you put the weight back on, it felt like work. So I wonder what triggered that, and that's very interesting. And there's lots of things that can trigger the weight loss happens. Then we put it back on. Why? There's a lot of reasons. I think one of the big ones is we got shitty strategies. We got strategies to lose weight and no strategies to maintain it. B is we got no self-image awareness. So you don't know how to shift your self-image. You don't know how to shift your identity. You identify as an overweight overeater. And as long as you identify as an overweight overeater, you're always going to struggle with your weight, because that's what overweight, that's the subconscious message that you've gotten and adopted and accepted, is that you're overweight and an overeater. And so until you change that into having the identity of a thin, healthy person, it's always going to feel like a struggle. It's always going to feel like you're doing something that's not really you, if that makes sense. So that's interesting that you dealt with that. Heather says, why haven't I done the program yet? Is because I want stage. I don't want to waste if I'm not fully committed. Oh, I get that, Heather. Yeah, for sure. For sure. I get it. I had this conversation the other day with someone where it's like, I don't know. It's funny. I find this fascinating. This goes right back to what I'm talking about, that we're not conscious, logical beings. If we were, you'd be doing the things to lose weight that you should. And so there's our conscious mind and our subconscious mind. And so, you want to lose weight, my program can help you, but there's some part of you holding back. And I see this all the time. And what is it that makes you flips that switch, right? What I would suggest, Heather, I hope you're at least in you have the free stuff, right? In the Thrive or the Spark program, I hope. And if you're not, folks, go to my bio, click the link, get the hypnosis session. Once you opt in for that, I give you a bunch of stuff for free, for absolute free. I call it my Spark program. But I give you a hypnosis session. I give you a video I made, 3 steps to mastering your weight. I give you a 15-minute motivation challenge, which is a kick in the ass. So Heather, that's what I'm telling. I want you to take that. Go take that motivation challenge and see if it inspires you enough and flips that switch for you. And I give you a couple other things, but yeah, I get it. It's funny, right? We can think about this and not be truly committed. It's weird. So not unusual. Let's see. Mario says, I truly don't think I over restrict myself. I just try to be in a slight deficit, but for some reason I just feel deprived and want to eat everything. Well, even being in a slight deficit, and this is just semantics. And if you say it's just semantics and as a dismissive thing, people say, oh, it's just semantics. Yeah, well, semantics is absolutely everything in my world as a hypnotist. So I don't want to put myself into a deficit. I want to reduce my average calorie consumption. And that may sound like the same thing to you, but it's not, because a deficit is, oh, this is my normal and this is what I'm going to do to lose weight. And so that's not what you want, right? As long as you think of it as a deficit, well, what are you going to live in a deficit for 50 years? Is that how you're going to think about it? You know what I mean? Like it's just a weird way to think about it. So I prefer to say I'm going to reduce my average calorie consumption from where it's been to where I want it to be, so I can weigh what I want. It's a subtle shift, but it's all these subtle things built on top of each other that makes the difference. So Dan says, I like when you share that you still struggle. It was funny when you said someone told you were just a naturally thin person. You said, fuck you. Yeah. It's just, I don't know. The natural thin people, thing. I know there are, you know what I mean? Like, but and I've had advantages. Like, there's no doubt about it. I didn't struggle with obesity. I didn't grow up, being way overweight. So I had advantages. Everyone's got advantages and disadvantages. But my disadvantages is I was raised by my hero. My dad was an eater. And so I used to always want to eat like him. And I always say this, the hardest part wasn't losing weight for me. The hardest part was after I'd been thin for a couple of years. And I was like, I really started grappling with, am I really going to be a thin person the rest of my life? Because if I'm going to be a thin, healthy person, I'm basically rejecting who my dad was. Like, you know what I mean? Like, subconsciously growing up, I want to be like my dad. And it's so funny. I think back too, I'm like, back when I was a kid, I wanted to be a chef. And I've analyzed that. I'm like, I probably want to be a chef because that's like be the the easiest way to like, make him happy. You know what I mean? Like he loved food so much. And yeah, so I don't know. And he was an awesome guy. Like everyone loved him and stuff. So it was hard to like the hardest part of the really mastering the weight was accepting a new identity that was some degrees not my dad. That was like the hardest part. And so it's subtle little things like that that a lot of times make the biggest difference. And we never even focus on those. So yeah, but anyways, yeah, naturally thin my ass because I mean shit, 12 years ago I put 25 pounds on in like 6 months because I guess just so overwhelmed with life, just a lot of stress and it was a difficult, challenging time, a great time in a lot of ways too, but it was hard. And so, yeah, it was very easy. Just went right back to, overeating again. Again, you have to manage it because again, we live in it's an obesogenic environment. And so if you're not supporting yourself and encouraging yourself, it's very hard not to get dragged back into overeating. I mean, we're constantly being tempted constantly. The whole economy is built on people that are overweight, unhealthy, and unhappy. So you got to watch out for that, you know? But yeah, it's not, I don't know, the born thin thing is weird to me because I look thin now and I am, but it's like, it was a complete and absolute transformation inside my head of how I think about food and how I behave and how I live my life. And then how I eat, obviously. So when I go away from that, I put weight on. So I don't know. Yeah, it's a weird thing to say that to me. Baby girl says, I eat to be excited during my day. How do I deal with this? Yeah, you find other things that are more exciting. And this is the core question, do you really want to lose weight? No, folks, you don't want to lose weight. I think that's the first thing to recognize. You're really doing yourself you're not being helpful to yourself when you say to yourself, I want to lose weight more than anything. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't want to lose weight more than you want to eat the food. And because the food for you is excitement and it's like something to look forward to and it makes me feel better and it's enjoyable and it's entertainment and it's all these positive things. And you think you have to give them up in order to weigh what you want. And so part of the way of dealing with that is realizing that you can't have this all or nothing plan. The all or nothing plan is the best way to fail. And to start structuring your eating so you have mostly clean days, but you still have some pleasure days. And that's how you start to slowly implement this in. So you still have things to look forward to. I don't know anyone who's going to live a life where they don't get to eat foods they enjoy, which is why keto is the dumbest plan out there. You know what I mean? Please, good Lord, unless you've got food allergies or sensitivities, the keto plan is not going to work for you unless you love it. If you love it, you wouldn't be listening to me probably. But the keto plan is so stupid. I'll just leave it on that. I always get there. Every time I do a live, I get to that point. Musical Girl says, took a big job and couldn't deal with the stress and used chocolate to get through the day. It's so interesting. Women in my office are thin and turn down unhealthy food to stay that way. I don't want to have to discipline myself. Yeah, see, so there you go. I mean, Musical Girl, it's right in the words you say. I can see. So that's why I love doing the lives because people write their questions and I can, it's like when I see what you're writing, I can see the hypnosis script you're following that's keeping you overweight, right? Because you think, I don't want to have to discipline myself. You see what I mean? And so why don't you want to discipline yourself? Because you subconsciously, you think losing weight is going to be more pain and less pleasure. And being 85 pounds heavier and being able to have access to chocolate is more pleasure and less pain. And so as long as that subconscious scale is that way, you're never going to lose weight. And I'm telling you, listen, folks, if you're not losing weight right now, if you're not actively losing weight, it's because subconsciously you associate more pain to losing weight than you do pleasure. Let me put it fucking as clear as I can make it. You don't want to lose weight subconsciously. You don't want to do the things you have to lose weight. And you probably don't even want to lose weight because you're nervous about it. And so, until that changes, you're doing what you want to do, in other words, and so that's the first problem because you think you're not. You think you want to lose weight more than anything in the world and you can't do it, which is a message of powerlessness because you say, oh, no matter what I do, I can't lose weight. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. You don't want to lose weight enough to do the things that it takes. Now, you don't know what to do either. So let that be known that that's a big part of the problem as well. You don't know how to lose weight. No, you don't. And that's why Program Yourself Thin is really two main things. It's the eating blueprint and the Program Yourself Thin technique. You need to know what to do and you need to be able to get yourself to do it. You don't know either. No, you don't. No, not eating carbs. That's not what I'm talking about. Not eating carbs is not an eating strategy. That's a tactic that's stupid. It's one big, giant, vague thing. That's like saying, oh, how do you make a lot of money? Oh, you work hard. Huh? You make a lot of sales. Well, how? You know what I mean? Like that's what dieting's like. It's like a big old vague thing, you know? Yeah, Joshua says the keto plan's not stupid for epileptic children. Fair enough. Fair enough. If you're an epileptic, keto makes sense. That's why I was saying, again, I don't go through every single disclaimer, but if you have like food allergies or you're an epileptic, then keto is a different story. You know what I mean? But if you're just a regular old metabolism body and you want to lose weight and you're going to use keto, no, you're not. No, you're fucking not. You'll do it and lose some weight, and then you'll stop doing it because you don't feel good and you don't like living that way. Isn't that what always happens to you? So I don't know why we can't say the quiet part out loud. I don't know why we can't say where everyone fucking ends their keto journey. They don't end their keto journey at their goal weight forever. What's the end of everyone's keto journey? Right? It's that you quit it. So, anyways. Yeah, but if you're epileptic, it's a different story. Heather says, I just know how I lost 145 pounds, then 2 kids gained 100 pounds back. I'm so tired, don't want to be more uncomfortable than I am now. Oh yeah, I get it, Heather. I get it. I will tell you this, Heather, and it's like, I tell this to a lot of people on here. There's always, everyone's lost weight and put it back on. You know what I mean? There's very few people I've worked with that have never lost any weight. I'm the solution of last resort, folks. I've made peace with that. When you're a hypnotist, you have to accept that. No one starts with the hypnotist. Do you understand? No one starts their weight loss journey with a hypnotist. They finish it there, right? And so most people I've ever worked with have lost weight and then put it back on, which, by the way, is usually the kiss of death. The worst thing that can happen to you is not that you try and lose weight and you don't lose weight. The worst thing that can happen to you is you lose a bunch of weight and then you put it back on. Most people can only deal with 1 or 2 of those until they're done. They're cooked. They can't even get themselves to start now, because now they even associate losing weight to failure. Now they're screwed, you see? So one way around that, obviously you got to do things differently. You can't diet anymore. You need a different strategy. Diets are never going to work for you because you don't believe in them, because they don't work. You're not stupid. You know the diets don't work. You know the diets can help you lose weight, but they don't keep it off. And like, well, I don't know. So I don't know what to do. That's what I'm trying to help you with. So, you need a different strategy, and it can't be dieting. It's got to be a more holistic, comprehensive approach. I would suggest, instead of trying to lose weight, start focusing on mastering your weight. So that's the first suggestion. But the second thing is that you need to learn from your experiences. If you lost 145 pounds, put 100 pounds on, well, you've done something special, that there's a lot of wisdom in there. Now, it wasn't perfect, right? Because you put the weight back on, but there's a lot of, and this is the same for Musical Girl. When you lost all that weight, there are strategies. There are eating strategies, lifestyle strategies, and mindset strategies that were really working for you. But there were other parts that weren't working for you. But what most dieters do is they're so inflexible. They just it's all or nothing. I'm going to follow the plan 100% or not at all. And that's what you all do. You lose 145 pounds and you can't follow anymore. You go right back to nothing, or pretty much nothing. You lose 85 pounds, you just go right back to put it back on, because you're all or nothing. And so what you got to do is you got to learn, look back at what worked. See, you don't look back and learn from it because it's so much pain. You think back to losing the weight and putting it back on, you're so ashamed and frustrated and in so much pain that you can't even look from that and learn. But if you could, you would realize, oh yeah, right. Oh, right. I used to do that. Oh, right. I did that. Oh yeah. I used to think that. Oh, I used to have that strategy, And so, you get to learn what works for you, because what I'm always helping people do is create a one-of-a-kind system for you. There's no one diet that's going to work for every person. You need to customize what's going to work for you, based on you. Music Girl says, I woke up one day and couldn't move because the weight gain injured my back. I do feel better walking and stretching. I'll feel better eating healthy again. Yeah, of course. I'm addicted to chocolate. Addiction to chocolate is one of the better addictions to have, but compared to hard drugs and then cigarettes and alcohol. But, addiction to chocolate, I could say for a Musical Girl, I don't think you're addicted to chocolate. What you said is that you don't know how to deal with stress without chocolate, and giving up chocolate causes you more stress. So let's just imagine that you magically were able to get good at relaxing genuinely. Let's just say you started to practice yoga and meditation, and you started to take more hot showers and baths and do more things that relax you and calm you down genuinely. If you started doing that, you may find that your addiction to chocolate's a lot less strong than you thought it was, because there's an addiction to chocolate, the flavor and the response you get from it. And then there's the emotional piece of it. And so you already said that a big part of that is that chocolate's the main way you're dealing with stress. So unless you have better ways to deal with stress that don't involve chocolate, yeah, you'll probably always remain addicted to chocolate. Not because chocolate has some addictive qualities, which it does, but not so addictive. It's more that you have no strategies to deal with stress. And that's the core problem anyways, because I will tell you, musical girl, that eating chocolate is not helping your stress. You can't tell me that you don't experience more stress overall now being 85 pounds heavier after having lost it and eating chocolate. You can't tell me that you're relaxed and calm now because you eat chocolate. I know it's not true. I know you live in I know it. I can see people quickly. You start to notice patterns. And yeah, you think the chocolate is helping you relax and it's actually causing you more pain because that's the main thing you're pointing to put the 85 pounds back on. So what would be more relaxing to you, dropping the 85 pounds and having genuine ways to deal with stress, or just relying on chocolate and putting 85 pounds on? Are you a relaxed, calm person now? Mario says, that actually makes so much sense, Jim. Thanks. I'll try that. The day someone assumes I'm a naturally thin person is the day I can die happily, honestly. Well, Mario, they will. I mean, once you lose the weight, everyone just assumes you're always like that. If they don't know you, you know what I mean? And time goes on. Yeah, Musical Girls, the first time I relaxed was when I listened to you. Exactly. That's exactly right. And a lot of people, I will tell you as a hypnotist, that was the first thing I was like, okay, I can provide value to literally every single person I work with. And what that was, I couldn't always make people lose weight in the beginning, but I could always relax them. And so I started to realize, holy shit, people are really stressed out. I was a stress case. I still identify as a stress case. I can't wait till the moment when I don't identify as a stress case. But I'm not really I don't identify as a stress case, but I do always say I kind of a tweaked up nervous system. I think naturally I got kind of tweaked up nervous system. Then I got my share of traumas. And so it's like all of them go together. Like I'm naturally a more tweaky person than a lot of people. So it wasn't until I started learning how to relax and calm down that I was able to get a handle on this. So yeah, Musical Girl says, no, I'm a wreck, right? So it's again, the chocolate's not, it's an illusion. It's an illusion. The chocolate's not relaxing you. You think it is, but it's actually causing more stress for you. What would be more relaxing tomorrow if you could eat all the chocolate you wanted to, or if you woke up 85 pounds lighter? Do you know what I'm saying? Like we got to look at things a more apples to apples comparison. I don't typically do that. Yeah. First time I relaxed was when I listened to you. Yeah. A lot of people say that. I fell asleep to your meditation. Yeah. I mean, Jesus, Musical Girl, you should get my program. My program now, it's like, this is exciting. And I'm not ready to hype it up too much yet because I still got a little bit of kind of back end stuff I got to do. But the program now, like if you've ever looked into it, I've offered it for the last year and a half it's $1,000. It was a group coaching program though, that was part of it. And now I've separated the program from the coaching. So it's a lot more affordable for people. But it's the most profound weight mastery program there is. And, yeah. And I'm the only one, I can't think of another hypnotist or weight loss program that guarantees the work. So yeah, I guarantee I can't guarantee group coaching because it's my time and that's up to you where you're showing up. But the program, I've been doing this program for 20 years and I know if you use it, I guarantee it works. I guarantee if you fill out your eating blueprint and listen to the sessions, you'll lose weight. You'll get control of yourself. And if it doesn't work, let me know. I'll give you your money back. So that's coming again. I'm not hyping it up too much yet, but anyways, would love a monthly fee. I mean, you can split into payments. I mean, it's $167, 2 payments of $167. And that's another thing I come into is I got another, I'm telling you, I'm so excited. I'm so excited because I got, like, I know the last year and a half, I wanted to do the group thing. And I knew that was a bit more than a lot of people ever think about investing in it. And so, but I did it because I really want to dial the program in. I wanted to work with a lot of people at once and really dial the program in, how I was explaining it and how I was teaching it. And now I've done that. And now I feel really good with the program. I've tested out with people who have just used the program and they're getting great results. And so there's going to be the $300 program. That's the full 8 weeks. Everything in the program you get, it's a tremendous value. It really is. But then on top of that, what's coming is there's a Program Yourself Thing Club, which will be $20 a month. And that'll be, you're going to get a weekly training, a weekly hypnosis session. You get a monthly challenge. That's going to be awesome too. So I'm so excited because there's going to be a lot more options that are going to help a lot more people. And so again, that's coming down the pike real quick here. Yeah, the sessions are really good. So yeah, I mean, I would again, I think the Program Yourself Thing Club's great, but the Program Yourself 10 system is just the stuff. It's the stuff. It's so good. Lee says, it is all the things one must do to lose weight. So discouraging. What to do when your partner isn't into eating healthy. I don't know why it's discouraging, all the things you must do to lose weight, because it's like that, and I'm not picking on you, Lee, but it's like, it's just, it's such a negative mindset, right? Because like what you're doing, and I don't blame you for this. This is part of the diet mentality, is that as a dieter, you think like the main benefit you're getting out of losing weight is you're going to look better. So you way diminish the value of all this. And to me, it's like, I look at what you're saying there, and it's like all the things you got to do to be the best version of yourself. Because I take my weight loss and wrap it in personal development. So it's not about losing weight. It's about being the best version of myself. And my weight's one aspect of that. So I would never say it's like, oh my God, but it's all the things you got to do to lose weight. Like that's, oh yeah, because who gives a shit about weight? It doesn't really matter. But when you say like, oh, it's all the things you got to do to be the happiest, healthiest, best version of you possible. Okay, well, what do I have to do? You know what I mean? Like I don't know. And it becomes easy to do these things. And what are the things? Let me be crystal clear about them. It's getting the right sleep. It's hydrating yourself. It's relaxing. It's breathing properly. It's nourishing yourself. It's moving more. It's meditating. It's feeling grateful. Who the fuck wouldn't want to feel all these things in their life? Who doesn't want to eat healthier and feel better, feel more alive, look better, live longer, have more energy, be more mobile, be more flexible, go on more adventures, be more independent? Do you know what I mean? What the fuck are we talking about? It's not your fault. Again, I this is the conditioning, that we've received, but man, there's so much. I got books. I got 2 books in my head, and I got to get the first one done, which I'm working on this month. It's so exciting. My work, I'm kind of closing a chapter on one aspect of it, and it's exciting what's coming up. But the books are coming up as well, so those are exciting. What to do when your partner isn't into eating healthy. That's always a challenge for some people. And what you really have to do is you have to really boost up your motivation. You really have to have a rock solid, bulletproof mindset when you live with something like that. But it's not that hard to do, to have that mindset. You just need to nurture it, and you have to develop it first, then nurture it. And then that's the main thing. I just want slim legs, but what if I don't have the body type to achieve it? Oh, that's a great question, because I think about this all the time. In my world, weight mastery comes down to 2 things: action and acceptance. And so you can take all the action that you can take, and then there's acceptance of what's not going to change. And I always joke about, I can't diet myself to having a full head of hair. Like I would love that. I can't diet myself and look like Brad Pitt. Like it's just, you know what I mean? There's limits to what I'm going to be able to, weigh myself into. So part of it is acceptance, because we live in a culture where we're constantly have these ideals put in front of us, and we measure ourselves against them. It's very weird. Never in history have we done this. In history, you look like all the people you were around, basically. And so now we're able to, like, oh, I want to look like that person. Well, you can't. It's a tough shit. It's about being the best version of you. Oh, I don't want to lose weight. I'm going to live 100 pounds overweight and be miserable and unhappy about how I look, feel, maybe die early and have a shitty end of life because my legs don't look like that supermodel. Who gives a fuck? Who cares what your fucking legs look like? I want slim. I want to look like Brad Pitt. I want to have a full head of hair, but I can't. Okay, great. Well, I want to be the best version of me then. You know what I mean? So that's my answer to that. Mario says, I need you to hypnotize me to finally get my shit together and start losing weight. I do. Mario, have you watched the video, the actual training video? I think I asked you this yesterday, but I forget if you did. But get the program, Mario. You got enough money to pay $167. Test it out. It works or doesn't work. I'll hypnotize the shit out of you. I mean, by the way, my program, right? It's like nothing you've ever heard. There's literally, I've never seen any program like this on the market. Like literally, there's really kind of, I always kind of go back and forth, three or two components. It's basically 3 things. You listen to a 5-minute hypnosis session in the morning. There's a 10-minute hypnosis session at night if you can listen to it if you want to. Okay, just as a bonus. There's a program yourself then technique, which takes about a minute or two. You do this to yourself at night. You program your own mind, and then you fill out your eating blueprint and you follow it. And that's it. That's what you need. And there's other bonuses there if you need them. Different people need different things, and there's all that stuff there for you too. But those are the big three things. So I will hypnotize you. If you let me bookend your day with hypnosis and you listen to that 5 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at night as you go to sleep, that alone is going to make a huge difference. And there's no program on the market like that. 8 weeks of that, it's like a weight loss cocoon. That's how I think of it. It's a weight mastery cocoon. Yeah, Heather says yo-yo for 25 years. Yeah, there you go, Heather. I mean, and then that's part of your motivation is what are you going to do for the next 25 years? That's the question. You know, what's up, Connie? PD says lifestyle changes instead of dieting. Absolutely. But you can't just have lifestyle changes either. You need to have eating changes too. You need to have mindset changes, lifestyle changes, and eating changes to live at your goal weight for the rest of your life. It takes 3 things. Are there a number of sessions you use to help people lose weight? Yeah, I mean, again, it's my ideal world. I like to work with people, but again, I understand there's financial realities. So ideally you join my coaching program so I can work directly with you. That's the best thing I can offer you. But short of that is the program's phenomenal because every day, that's what you need is consistency, folks, not intensity, right? Intensity is what you've been trying, where you start on Monday doing things perfectly for a couple days and then you can't keep it up. Okay. Instead, let's focus on consistency. Can you listen to a 5-minute hypnosis session in the morning? Okay. That's basically what you got to do because it's a game changer. You have no anchors in your life that anchor you to thinking and living and eating like a thin, healthy person. You got your focus and motivation and you say, okay, that's it. I'm going to do it. And that lasts for a couple days, but you have no strategy to consistently stay motivated, focused, and in an ideal state to master your weight. You don't even think in those terms. So a number of sessions, I mean, ideally, you'll go through my program and you're going to listen to 57 hypnosis sessions, right? That's how many, each 5-minute session you're getting. And you get lifetime access to all these as well. So you can keep on listening to them. So there's 57 hypnosis sessions in the morning. Each one's different. Each one has a different weight loss mantra in it. I'm installing a thin and healthy mindset into your body with these sessions. And so, and then there's a sleep hypnosis session. So there's 8 of those total in the program. So yeah, 65 sessions total. And then there's another 20 in the library. So there's hypnosis out the wazoo in that program. Set my alarm to relax and breathe midday between meetings, feeling like a calm monk. There we go, Connie, a calm monk. I love that. Connie, great. Again, this just reminds me, folks, you're only a certain number of strategies away from living at your goal weight for the rest of your life. It really comes down to strategies and you ain't got them. And once you have them, it's way easier. What's up, Heather? Connie, that's so smart. I think we can help each other. Yeah. Yeah, Heather, you should be doing that. Heather, I was thinking about you today. I was driving back. I can't believe you're not in the coaching. I'm just going to say, I'll say it one time and I won't mention it again, but I can't believe you're not joining the coaching group, but I'll let it go. But yeah, set some timer like Connie and you need, especially you, Heather, you need to have a few anchors of relaxation in your day. A midday one for you, Heather, would be really beneficial. And then having one at the end of your workday would be another one. Those would be leveraged habits, right? Because if you did those 2 things, they would have a huge impact on you overall. If it's just 2 minutes, 1 minute here, 1 minute there. So, Dan says that's the biggest and best mind shift. Personal development to be the best version of ourselves, and the weight will be one aspect. That's a big one, right? Yeah, exactly. It's a reframe for sure. Muse says, I'm a binge eater. How can I solve this problem? It depends what kind of binge eater you are and why you're binge eating. So look 5 minutes before you start binge eating, what's going on? How's your hunger? How's your emotions? Or is it just a habit that something triggered this binge eating? So start to analyze why you're binge eating with more detail and then come back with that detail and I can help you more. Jim helped me realize that a frantic lunatic can actually become a calm monk. Yeah, the calm monk, right? It's like, it's a whole different paradigm. By the way, it's such a difference of saying, I got to stop being a frantic lunatic and saying, I'm working on becoming a calm monk. So take your semantics and blow it out your rear. Semantics mean a lot, right? Because those 2 phrases I just said, I guess technically kind of mean the same thing, but emotionally they're completely different worlds. So the words we use and the worlds we tap into have a huge impact on how we feel and ultimately the results we create. Can we talk about how miserable it is to go clothing shopping as a fat person? Yeah, sure. Sure. Add it to the list, right? Tracy says, love that. Thanks for telling me that. You're welcome. What will the fee be to join the Program Yourself Thin Club? Program Yourself Thin Club is $19.97 a month. So that's a fun one. I haven't really started promoting it yet because I want to do a couple tweaks on it. But yeah, that program's awesome too. That's a real nice way because each week there's a different lesson, and the lessons are always relevant to the time of year, right? So like, as we approach summer, there's more summer related lessons. As we approach the holidays, it's holiday related, you know what I mean? And then what I'm adding is hypnosis sessions to each lesson each week. So there's like a 5-10 minute lesson each week that you can watch. And then there's gonna be a hypnosis session that it reinforces that content. And so, to be honest, you could just listen to the hypnosis session, but ideally you'd listen to both. And then every month there's a different challenge. So we got like self-love challenge 1 month, walking challenge, different things to develop that. So that's going to be a fun one. And I know people are going to love that program, but I got to tweak a couple things on it until I really put it out there. How do I get your plan? You can go right now. What I would suggest, there's one of two ways. I think one is that you can go to my bio, click the link, and get the hypnosis session I give you, and then watch the video I made for you. It's about 20-25 minutes. And then I talk about kind of my main program. But if you just want to get started and learn about it, you can go to programyourselfthin.com. And that's all just one word, programyourselfthin.com. And you can learn about the program there as well and see if something works for you. And then you can always email me at jim@programyourselfthin.com, or you can message me through TikTok or Instagram if you got any questions. I can answer those. Connie says the power of language and what we say to ourselves, mind blowing. Yeah, absolutely, Connie. Yeah, that's the whole game. It really is. At the end of the day, it's that internal dialogue you got. What you're saying to yourself day in and day out is dictating your weight more than anything else. And so that's a big part of what we work on in the program. And we hit it from two angles. I give you, I kind of bookend your day with hypnosis. So I'm kind of filling your brain with all this great, wonderful stuff. The hypnosis, don't be weird about that either, folks. Commercials are hypnosis. I'm just appealing to your subconscious mind. I'm appealing to your imagination. And so I'm using your imagination to install new thoughts and ideas naturally and easily. And you're learning to relax as well. And then you use the Program Yourself Thin technique, and you program your own mind because you need specific suggestions and strategies for your life. Your challenging eating behaviors are unique to you. And so we need to understand for you what is going to help you. And you need to do that work. You've got to learn how to program your subconscious mind. I said this earlier. You got to have the ability to adapt and be flexible and program yourself. So I can't just give you the hypnosis. I need to show you how to do it yourself as well. And it's easy. It's super easy. It's a 15-20 minute training just to show you how to program yourself. It's simple. But it kind of comes back to like, give a person a fish, feed them for a day, teach a person to fish, feed them for a lifetime. It's kind of like that idea that you've got to learn how to run your own mind. You are your own best or worst hypnotist because you're in your head talking to yourself day in and day out. So you've got to have some understanding of this. Again, there's no shortcut. You can listen to just hypnosis, and I'm not saying it won't help for a little bit, but you need to learn how to do this yourself to some degree. And it's easy, but you got to learn that part. Myra says, truly don't think I've ever trusted people online more than I trust you, Jim. Might be the hypnosis. Yeah. Well, I mean, also, I'm not bullshitting you. And I'm telling you, I'm filling all the blank spaces in your mind. Like your weight loss conversation boils down to what's wrong with me. Why can't I follow a plan? And there's no room for really figuring shit out there. So I'm illuminating a lot of, you're in a dark room and you can see one little corner of it. It's got a little bit of light in there. That's kind of it. And I'm illuminating the rest of the room saying, no, there's this, and this. And once you're aware of that, now you have understanding. Now you can say, oh, that makes sense, And now you're in a world of things making sense. Whereas before nothing's making sense. And you keep trying to, why don't I follow the plan? Why don't I eat better? Why don't you lose weight? So I just had a friend try to shame me about eating a banana. How do you deal with people like that? Also, I have now lost 20 pounds thanks to you. That's awesome. I'm going to have a little screenshot. I like my successful people. Good job, Crystal. And it's so funny you just said that with the banana. I was literally just thinking about this. I was thinking about, I will regularly hear people be like, well, I just eat half the banana. And I'm like, well, what's going on with that? Like, well, I don't want all the sugar. And it's like, man, I was like, I bet it was probably like the meat industry probably put that idea out there. The bananas are bad for you. Bananas are great for you, And Usually, oh, here we go. I would say certain things, and I gotta like fix the thing to keep going. Yeah, how do you deal with people like that? I mean, the way you deal with people in general when it comes to your weight is don't listen to them, because if they have lost weight, if they've lost weight and they have lived at their goal weight for at least 2 years, then you listen to them. Now, everything they say is not going to be relevant to you necessarily, but you listen to them and you ask them questions about how they did it. And you specifically ask them questions about how they changed, how they thought about things, how they changed their lifestyle, and how they changed their eating. So if someone's lost weight and kept it off for 2 years, you listen to them, take it to heart, keep what works, discard the rest. If they have not lost weight, if they are overweight, or if they have never lost weight in their lives, then you don't really listen to them. That would be my suggestion to you. And I think you'll do well that way. So that's my suggestion of that. Yikes, drop. I would distance myself from people like that. Yeah. But I eat bananas every day, and I'll eat bananas all the time. So yeah, people are funny with the bananas. Really funny. Because that's just like what is it? The penny wise, pound foolish. People are like that with fruit. Like they're so I don't know. They're so worried about their fruit intake, but then they'll go and eat like, a bag of shit, candy, chips, bullshit, ice cream, whatever. It's silly. So I don't know what people got against bananas, but it doesn't make much sense to me. Now, which isn't to say, I guess some people, maybe it spikes their blood sugar, maybe, but bananas have fructose in them. So fructose isn't glucose. So it takes a while for that fructose to turn into something that's making blood sugar, but everyone's different. So, you gotta do your own thing and figure out what works for you. But yeah, there's a lot of banana hate in the world, and I don't understand it. But anyways, there's a lot of vegetable hate in the world, and I think a lot of that's bullshit. So Doxy Mom says, "Oh, Doxy Mom, I saw your message too, and obviously you found the live. I do the lives every Monday through Friday, usually around noon. I wasn't here Monday and Tuesday this week, but so I don't know why you weren't getting the messages for that, because I'm always here, and I always have the replays too. Yeah, but Doxy Mom says none of us are here because we ate a banana. Exactly. But it's like, yeah, it's like okay, I'm going to start losing weight, and so now I'm going to really restrict my bananas. But it's a common thing. I hear it all the time. I am regularly telling people don't worry about the bananas, because there's some weird ass agenda against bananas, and I would love to research that and find out where it came from. Because there's something that can help with reminding yourself that even if you're hungry, it's not time to eat. Yeah, I mean, again, you got to have strategy. So I was sharing my strategy before. It's like I have breakfast and then I have lunch. I usually eat breakfast around 8:00, let's say, and I usually eat lunch, let's say 2:00. And so around 11:00, I start to get a little hungry, a little bit. I'm not starving. I've dealt with this forever. I'll get a little bit hungry, but I'm fine-ish. And so I know, but so it's not me saying like, understand this is really important. It's not me saying 11:00 coming saying, oh, I'm kind of feeling hungry, but I don't want to eat yet. I'm not going to eat yet. I want to just ride it out. I want to not eat for as long as I can. I'm not doing that. I know that I'm going to eat at 2:00. I know that I'm going to do a live between 12 and 1:30. I know I'm going to do some work between 11 and 12. And so I know doing that work absorbs my focus, and the hunger that I felt goes away. So I know that. So I know it's not an excessive hunger. I know it's not like a real genuine hunger where I need to eat. It's a slight hunger. And as soon as I do something that's stimulating in my mind, takes my focus, the hunger disappears. And then 2:00 comes and I know at 2:00 I'm going to eat. So it's not me saying, let's see how long I can go without eating. I want to make that clear. That's a key part of why I can do that. So structuring your reading is so crucial. This is the first thing you do in the program. Right after you learn the program yourself, then technique, you just work on your eating blueprint. You all don't have an eating blueprint. What you do is you try and eat as few calories as possible, and you're just winging it. And every day you have no strategy. You're just trying to eat as little as you can. And it's the shittiest strategy ever, is what it is. You do have a strategy. It's just a real shitty one. So yeah, structuring your reading is a great strategy which will get you much, much better results in a much more comfortable way. I try not to care what others say, but my parents talk about me dieting every time I'm at their house. They keep making jokes about it and they never take me seriously. Um, well, Mario, I mean, like, listen, revenge is the best medicine. A, stop talking about diets with them. B, stop fucking dieting and do something different and master this, you know, or stop complaining about it. I'm not trying to, what I mean, Mario? Sometimes I got to just hear the truth. You spend a lot of time, oh, I got this problem and this is wrong with me and this isn't fair and this sucks and this is hard and I don't like this and this doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like you're absorbed in the problems. And so, yeah, you're going to continue. My parents say they're a pain in the ass and they say this to me and this isn't fair and they don't support me and fuck them. It ain't their job. It's your job. Your job is to manage your weight. This is your weight. Okay. Fuck them. I had people around me that weren't supporting me. Was it hard? Yeah. It's extra challenge. We all have certain extra challenges. We have, all of us have certain challenges and certain support systems. Everyone. And so we all got the things we got to deal with. So at some point, Mario, you got to take all that energy and start, blaming other people and my problems, it's hard and all the rest of it. And you start down another path, or you don't. You know what I mean? And that's the other option you have is just fuck it. I'll just be overweight. Yeah, I'm just overweight and this is the weight I'm going to live at because I like eating and I don't want to change my shit, Yeah, thank you for calling me out. You're right. It's completely my responsibility. People do like the tough love. I always joke I never beat people up. Beating yourself up doesn't work, but the tough love, people, it's like they're just starving for it because the weight loss industry is just jerking you around so hard that it's almost like at this point, just give me tough love that's actually true and honest. You know what I mean? Because you're so tired of hearing all the bullshit. And God, it's all bullshit. Can I lose 15 kilograms in 2 months? Probably. It's certainly a possibility. But yeah, but it feels good to take responsibility though too, doesn't it? Instead of just like spending all your time just feeling like shit about it or feeling weak or powerless and depressed and sad and like you can't change it. And it sucks. That's the worst place in the world to be. That's what I always say. It's like, again, how you look is a tiny piece of the problem. The deep problem is how you feel and what you think all day long. Your life's going by and you're just living in this space of feeling like shit about your weight. And it's affecting everything that's important to you. It's a huge ass anchor psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, and obviously physically, So, all right, everyone, I'm going to get out of here. I got a lot of work to do. I got a lot of cool things coming for you guys. So I'm excited about that. That's what I'm working on. So I can't wait to get you all, some option that's going to help you. Okay. Because there is a point at some point too, I give everything away for free. I've given everything away for free. I've been doing this 20 years professionally. I have given my program away for free. I've given coaching away for free. And what I've consistently found is that when you give it away for free, people don't value it. And so it's always at some point you've got to invest in yourself. And I know it's scary because you don't believe in yourself and you've never been trained to invest in yourself. I was thinking that last night. I actually have a degree in investments. So it's very interesting. That's been very helpful for me because what I learned in investments is that people in general don't value compound interest. It's like when you hear these small percentages, you're just like, what's the point? It's just pennies. Our brain just doesn't intrinsically value small improvements over time. And this is why you're stuck in the diet mentality because I can only do drastic things because that's the only thing I can appreciate that I'm going to get quick results. And doing small, sustainable, strategic, smart things that last just emotionally doesn't have that jazz to it. But that's the way you get the results you want too. And a deeper part of it is that you don't know how to invest in your success. You don't know how to do it financially, and you do not know how to do it strategically with your weight. You don't know how to invest in strategies that are going to allow you to live at your goal weight for the rest of your life. And you don't know how to invest in yourself financially so you get the results you want. And so this is why I'm making programs that are less expensive so that you can still invest in yourself and upgrade. Because listen to this. How much do you really care about your weight if you wouldn't invest $300? Really? They say, well, I don't know if it's going to work, Jim. Well, I fucking guarantee it. So what now? Right? What are we going to do? How much do you want to lose weight if you wouldn't spend $300 on it? Look at what you spent $300 on this month. You'll probably spend more than $300 on junk food and bullshit. So it's like there is a part at some point where you've got to make a commitment. You've got to decide, yes, this is important enough to me to invest the money and the time and the energy into doing it. And most people aren't at that point, you know? So again, I do the podcast. I'm happy to do it for free because I just want to get this out to as many people as possible. And a lot of people just listen to podcasts and get results, you know? But in your own mind, you live in America and money talks and bullshit walks. And you can pretty much tell what you value in your life by what you've spent money on. You obviously value your house, heat, food, transportation, adventure. How much you invest in your health? What do you invest in your health? Health insurance doesn't count. You invest exponentially more in your health insurance than you do in your actual health. What do you invest in your health? And you're going to be shocked to find that it's a real low number most of the time, bordering on zero, on fucking zero. And so you wonder why you're getting the results you're getting. So there is an imaginary line I believe everyone has in their mind for things that where they're kind of thinking about it and they like to do something, and then once they've actually committed to something, they're two different. That's a very binary switch, and most people are in the. I'd like to lose weight, but $300. 5 minutes every morning. I don't know if I'm going to do it. Yeah, that's because you don't really give a shit, you know. And so I like to make that line crystal clear because if you don't care enough, then you should just cut the shit. You just enjoy your life and don't worry about the weight because you don't really care that much, you know? So again, just a little quick dose of tough love here, but you know, I find it to be true. Mara said I live for the tough love. Yeah, you might like that, Mara. You might like it tough love too much. You might be used to that, you know? That happens too sometimes. You feel like shit for so long that just becomes, you know, the norm. So anyways, all right, everyone, have a super duper weekend. And thank you so much. This was a great one. I wasn't even planning on being here for too long, but as usual, you guys ask great stuff. And yeah, I appreciate all of it. So thank you so much. If you're not in my world, go to my bio, click the link, get the hypnosis session and watch the video I made for you. Listen to the podcast. Podcast is Program Yourself. Then we do a new and live one every weekday. So have a super duper weekend and we'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.